And where we left off last episode was that Anix actually got it done, and kind of like a boss too. So before we get all back into our immersed gameplay, just want to kind of like take this time out because I'm not sure how much more time I'm gonna get to not be immersed. But last episode we kind of like touched on a character that is dear to my heart, and that's from my boy Bruvo Junglo Unglo, and that was Alton Redjoy. Word. So, you know, we couldn't really dive into him too much just because outside of letting you guys know that he is a custom character that's been submitted by Jungle Unglo. Word, we had a war that was going on, and we had gameplay that was going on, right? Like actual gameplay. So yeah, let's actually take this time to give that man the respect he deserves, put some respect with his name, and let's actually see how we can weave this character that's already been weaved into our lore. Because word, he's the one who actually let me know that there was nobody left in Nukeria, and that we won the war. Right. So let's actually check out how this guy got over to Ilvonis. All right. So Alton Redjoy is the bastard child, and there's a couple of tweaks that I made. A couple of tweaks, Junglo, don't be tight with me. But overall, he's basically the same guy that you submitted. But Alton Redjoy is actually from, let's move over here. Yes. He is from Old Wick. And Old Wick is this teeny beady little chicken nugget over here. And is actually led by his mother, Lady Gretchel of House Greyjoy. And she's currently the lady of Old Wick. So Old Wick isn't let's check out the actual holding. So it's a, you know, it's not a bad castle. It's a common Ironborn castle. You know, common Ironborn castle level 4. All right. It was called Drum Tower. So this is where Alton spent his days growing up. But he didn't grow up with the love from his mother that he should have gotten. Right. So let's actually check this out just a little bit more. All right, so he is a bastard, right? And of course, you already see his marshals at 28, so he's a brilliant commander, he's strong, he's a formidable fighter, he's a duelist, he's wroth, he's honest, he's ambitious, he's proud, and he's cruel, right? But he spent the last 5 years in our court, and why was he in our court, right? So like I said, he grew up in Old Wick, and he's a bastard child of Lady Gretchel. But he's also the bastard son of Lord Meldred. And Lord Meldred, right? Why isn't he married to, like, you know, Lady Gretchel, right? He's actually married to Lady Frienne of House Merlin, right? So there's a lot of, and this is where they are, right? So basically, in Lady Gretchel's younger days, her and Alton's father, Meldred, you know, they had a little fling, you know. Gretchel was hot back then, right? And being that she was hot back then, and word, I mean, like, he's not too shabby himself, right? You know, he's got the whole pull back, you know, mutton chops, ironborn, reaving, raping, you know, I don't farm shit going on. He was, you know, they got along, and they had a little fling, but Gretchel's father wasn't too fond of him. You know, he would really have favored her to be with a man of nobility, or a man that at least, right, a man of a marshal at least of like 15, you know. But things went on, and at that point, you know, Meldred and Gretchel, they kind of like moved apart from each other, but they didn't move apart before having one last dalliance in the castle called Drum Tower. And yeah, you know, that's when you know, Alton was conceived, and you know, they went their ways. But again, Alton grew up knowing that his dad was over here in Volmar, but he couldn't really, you know, he couldn't really grow up with him. So at that point, let me just try to make sure I'm like keeping with Junglo's certain lore. He requested from Gretchel that he knows that he's not gonna hold any real claims to Oldwick, but he asked her that she at least make him a legitimized bastard, and she honored him. So even though House Greyjoy is a house of a famous bloodline, House Redjoy isn't. All right, and she gave him the house name House Redjoy so that he would always remember that he's a bastard. Always remember that, and that infuriated him. So when she ended up getting married to Lord Theon, he knew that it was time for him to go. He knew it. You know, he was a young man, probably about like 16, 17, I think. Yeah, maybe 16. No, maybe 17. Right? And he understood that there's somebody else with a better claim to this throne, and that no matter what he does, he knows that he's never going to have a better legitimate claim to Oldwick than Torgon. So because that infuriated him, he ended up leaving Oldwick and traveling over to Essos, where he spent time learning the ways of the Valyrians. Because he always looked at it like, this over here in Essos, this is kind of like wild man's territory, right? Everybody, even though over here is like wild man's territory as well, this is a place where he can start new. This is a place where his house, he'd at least be a nobleman, right? This isn't a place where they would care that he's too much of a bastard, you know, because they don't understand. They understand what the fuck a bastard is, but it's he's not a bastard from their own, you know. And he would come in with some small wealth and stuff like that. So he ended up hearing while he was in a bar in Sarmel about a dragon queen, and he was like, "What the hell? Like a dragon queen?" And no, it wasn't actually a dragon queen. It was a lady that had 3 dragon eggs. So he says, "You know what? He's young. He has nothing to lose, so he's gonna make his way over to Ilvonis to see if he can." Join in as join this, enter her service, right? But Lady Vela wasn't really too enamored with him. So even though he made his way to her court, yeah, she didn't really accept him with open arms, but she allowed him to remain. And fast forward, throughout all of his, bar fights and other commanders taking note of him and just the way that he carried himself, he actually made his way into the military ranks of Ilvonis, working his way up to a commander status. And yeah, and now he is actually let's actually make this legit. While he was working his way up the ranks in Ilvonis, he met young Anix, and he took a liking to the man that was so focused on, how to be the best martial led character in Ilvonis, where that's like the best I freaking got right now. Right? And they ended up being friends. Alright. Let's make this legit now. And thank you guys so much for being patient with the storytelling. You guys didn't get a high. Alright, let's go to Alton. Alright. Now we're gonna make it official, and they're not gonna kiss or anything like that. Though there would be no issue if they did kiss, because I don't care. Alright, awesome. And Alton and I are now friends, and now we're definitely getting back into character. All right. So where we left off last episode was that we took over Nukeria, and myself and Alton standing above the hills of whatever this is, of the castle of Nukeria, or the hills that led to the castle of Nukeria. We understood that. Okay. The hell is going on? Okay, we understood that there were going to be people that weren't going to be happy with us, right? Because who are they to expand? right? We've got peace in southern Valyria. And one of those people that weren't too fond of that was the lordship of Bane Coast, led by Lord Bathan of House Killenbeer. In House Killenbeer, we recognize the name because my mother had a claim on the lordship of Bane Coast. And maybe this is some foreshadowing. Maybe this is just a preemptive strike by Lord Bathan because he sees that we continued on with what my mother did in started in New Caria, and maybe we're going to end up going to the Bane Coast to finish what she started. All right, so let's actually run the game now. All right, and while we're doing that, let's actually check out. Okay, yeah. I'm really trying to stay immersed, but I'm not sure where the fuck we have a bear. Yeah. A bear. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we really have a bear. Not sure why we've got a bear in our court or why we've got a bear as a prisoner. I'm really not too sure. Word, I'm sorry guys. This is just kind of like taking me out of it. But I'm back in because bears are people too. Alright. So my prisoner Oros is complaining about his dark cell in the dungeon, asking for more reliable accommodation. You know what? Let's let him rot. Let's see if we can ransom him. Okay. We actually can. Awesome. We'll need those 10 pieces of gold. Alright, my prisoner Magor is complaining about his dark cell in the dungeon, asking for a more suitable accommodation. Alright, let's see who he's connected to. See if we can ransom him. Oh no, so I'm sorry, you're just gonna die. Alright. No, we're gonna let him rot. Alright, and Lady Melania of the Andal Coast has paid for her bear to come back, which is great. You know, I'm not into animal cruelty. Okay. So we've won the Battle of Ilvonis between the forces of the Bane Coast and mine. Now we're going to hunt them down over to New Caria, where they're trying to actually liberate New Caria. And this is really interesting to me. Let's get out of like the whole immersiveness. Yeah, I never knew that you can have a liberation war. And this war is actually the liberation war of New Caria. This is like so like dope, and I wonder if the game is gonna give us a chance to do this for a character in the future. Okay, so let's check this out. I'm not sure when we got this guy as a prisoner, but we do. Yeah. Let's see what. Wow. All right. So my prisoner Shamash Hamasi is complaining about his dark cell in the dungeon and is asking for more suitable accommodation that would befit his rank. Let him rot. Okay. And let's actually see if we can get anything out of him. Oh no, he probably died. Wow, yeah, we've killed a lot of people. At least in our dungeon. And I'm okay with that. Right? Because I think we need to strike some fear into the hearts of people so they know not to fuck with us. You know? Just don't do it. It's not a good course of action. Alright. Yeah, so let's get back to it. Alright. So we've won the Battle of New Caria. Alright, and we've got this message in from Lady Viseria of Rakiros. Alright, of House Jomazar. Alright, so she's getting attacked by Mysafir. Alright. And they've got 7,000 troops, so I'll be honest with you. Yeah, that's not something I'm trying to fuck with. So I'm sorry, but we can't get involved. And we'll just deal with the bigger threat that House Hanaris is beginning to become at a later time. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and we've won that battle in the Caria. Now let's take it home over to the Bane Coast. Alright, one evening, so while we're dealing with this war, one evening while we're examining our dragon egg, we see that it's emitting heat. Perhaps it's responding to my touch and will soon reveal its secret. I hope so. Because getting a dragon egg would be dope. Okay. All right, let's check this out. So somebody named Viserys, a lowborn from the realm of Bane Coast, was captured in the battle. And that was the Battle of the Bane Coast. All right. Not bad. We'll let him rot for now. Even though he's a decent character. All right, let's check this out. So our third marriage has finally come in, and it is to the Princess of Tolos. And this is amazing. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and accept. All right, and now our wife, Lady Vayna of House Malzara, she's in our court now. So we've got 3 wives, 3 dragon eggs. Hopefully we get pregnant sooner than later. As of right now, there's no plots out there to kill us. So, and our war score is up to a 94%. Yes, it is everybody's concern because we need more money, especially this war has kind of like really tapped us out. So we got 100 pieces of gold. Amazing. Thank you so much, Naynarla. That was like dope of you. All right, so let's check this out. Under my guidance, Vayna is slowly mastering the art of swordsmanship. All right, so she's actually, no, she doesn't have a martial education. She has a diplomacy education. Okay, that makes sense because her learning is pretty good. But we've got an egghead, nothing wrong with it. All right. And we should be able, yep. And this war is officially over. And yeah, guys, this is where we are officially going to leave it off at. Yeah, I just wanted to do something like a little short and sweet for you guys. Well, let's make it official, right? Word, fool. All right, so the Lord Bathan's liberation of Nukeria has ended. Lord Enix of Ilvonis has won. All right. And now we are officially wrapping this episode up. Thank you guys so much for checking this one out. Hit that like button, subscribe. Give me kind of like some feedback. Do you guys like this kind of like short, nice and tight kind of like format? Whatever you guys don't like, you guys do like, I take that all into consideration. But as always, check out Knights of the Round. Like I said, we've got a ton of news coming out pretty soon that I'm really, really pumped about. A bunch of series that are going on over there. Well, not really. It's just really Galahad Dane as of right now. But we've got some more content coming out from some other faces out there. You guys know Robot Raptor stuff. You know, we're funniest thumbnails in the game. And yeah, just a lot of good vibes over there, man. But as always, I appreciate you guys bringing your good vibes over here to Stizzy's house. But now you gotta go. You gotta go. I'm gonna go do something that you can't say. But I'm out of here. You guys take it easy. Peace.